To cancel or not to cancel, and that's the reason why I have former LSK CEO Apollo Mboya with me in studio. First, before we get into whether it should be cancelled or not, what do you make of this quagmire that IEBC seems to be embroiled in right now?
Thank you. The quagmire is engineered to be exactly what it is. There was enough period to do what is right, to follow the procurement procedures properly. On 3 occasions, they missed it deliberately. The last one, as you are aware, they actually gave the wrong forms for tendering, which instead of giving the one for restricted tendering, they gave the one for competitive tendering. So it was meant to happen like that. It was engineered. They found themselves there. They made their bed. They must now lie on it. So
you think they decided to do this intentionally, but it was a subject of several court cases as well. In fact, there was one with the High Court and then another on the Procurement Tribunal.
I was involved even in the one on the Public Tribunal.
But those things take time. How would you say that they had enough time to handle it? Because they were dealing with those cases at that particular point.
How do you explain where you give the forms that are meant for competitive tendering, you give it in, you sell it for the purposes of restricted tendering? Those forms are different. And that is how they were knocked out. I mean, it is deliberate. The people who are there know procurement procedures. The people who are there knew exactly what they intended to do. They were supposed to ensure that there is problem with tendering so that it shortens the time, the period, and then they can argue that now there is no time. Let's go for direct procurement.
The argument is that they tried all that. Open tendering, it was cancelled.
Yes.
Closed tendering as well for single tendering was also cancelled. And now they don't have time. So they only have to pick Al Ghurair.
That is correct.
And also note that Al Ghurair has been involved since 2014.
That is correct.
By-elections. So they've proven that they can actually handle it.
That is correct. And we also must remember that they actually sacked the director of procurement.
Yes.
Why? Because they were culpable. In fact, one of the decisions that has come from the Public Procurement Review Board was scathing on how the tendering process was not followed, because the rules are there. And it shows that there's somebody who is culpable. And in their wisdom or lack of it, they have decided to go for the director of procurement.
So what then is the end game here? If you're saying that it's an engineered quagmire, what is the end game?
The end game, you must understand, you have to trace it from where it started from. Yeah. The award was actually given to Ghurair, the first case. Yes. It was challenged, and the tender was cancelled.
But it was challenged on technical grounds.
Grounds.
At that point, the commission was not properly constituted.
Exactly.
So it wasn't exactly about Al Ghurair.
Exactly. So that was the first. That was the first challenge. Then again, they did the procurement, and again it was cancelled. And they had awarded it again to Ghurair. Okay, it was cancelled, and the reasons are there, which led to the dismissal of the Director of Public Procurement. Then after that, again, they do direct procurement, and they give it to the same person. So you can see it was hell-bent that it must end up there. And there is where the problem is.
Should this even be the discussion, or should it be whether Al Ghurair meets the threshold of delivering what is expected in August 8th? Should it be a matter of whether they were single-sourced or not, considering we only have about 54 days to the next elections?
Yes.
Should we even be talking about this now?
Yeah, that's a good question. Now, it shouldn't have been if at all the other aspects that now have come to light were not there. The question of who is Ghurair, who did they visit, did they host the president? I've been reading in the media when the president was in Dubai.
But can Mijungu just explain that Majid Saif Al Ghurair from the Dubai business team is very different from Abdullah Al Ghurair, who's the owner of now, the one that's printing?
And they come from the same family.
They have the same surname. It's not even established even if they come from the same family. Somebody could be called Ombija as myself, doesn't mean we come from the same place.
And those are the things that needs now to be be interrogated and clarified. Are they the same people? Are they the same people who had visited here? Did they actually visit Muhoho, the president's brother?
Yeah.
You see, we don't know. We just read it. Yeah.
IBC has offered to take stakeholders, in fact, representatives, to go and check in Dubai, of which one Senator Moses Mutangola has already just dismissed it.
Yes.
What do you make of that? Because doesn't that show that they're open to this? If
No,
people have a question as to whether the two Al Ghurairs are related, why don't they just take the tour?
Mutangola is very right. The offer to take representatives to Dubai is actually to go and legitimize an irregular process. Why am I saying this? And the way the senators asked, what will you know what was printed earlier or what would be printed after you've left? We don't know. We don't even know. Yesterday, I remember the chairman of the IEBC saying that the printing of the ballot papers was on course. We don't know, even as we are speaking here, whether some copies have been made. So I completely agree with what Mutangola is saying. It's a project in futility.
But the flip side of that could be, if you have any questions, then that would be the best point for them to be answered. Because one angle of it is what you're saying, that you're looking at it from legitimizing an irregular process. But there's also the flip side, which is really observing and verifying a process, which nobody has even confirmed whether it's illegitimate or not. Yeah. So why not just take the trip and then come back and give the results?
Why they would not take the trip? Same NASA and Accord then, they're the ones who challenged this procurement. Up to now, they succeeded in challenging it. What IBC did, they then gave direct procurement. But they challenged it twice, and they succeeded on it. Now, by going to Dubai, will be then contrary to the position they have always taken. And they're perfectly right to refuse to go. Again, how do you go stand in a production line, as the senator has asked, waiting there with all what goes on there, and then you're being told, okay, this is what has been printed. Then now, climb, get into the plane, go back to Kenya. Do you know what will be printed after you've left? You don't know. I mean, so that's a PR exercise.
But legally speaking, what options does IEBC have 54 days to the election?
IEBC had so many options.
They had, but what do they have now? Because the Kenyans are expecting an election the 8th of August.
They can still give it.
To who?
To any other person, but not Ghurair. And you remember...
And yet Ghurair is the one that has been confirmed to have been able to do the by-election since 2014 and all that.
No.
Would it then even expose them even more if they gave it to a company that nobody has heard about?
You remember, the main problem, why this matter is so convoluted, is also the arrogance that is coming from the other side. You remember the deputy president said, even give it to Raila's company. We'll still win. Now, first of all, they are not supposed even to answer questions on behalf of IEBC. They're not the mouthpiece of IEBC. IEBC should be answering the questions that have been posed to them. Questions have been posed, answers are required, okay? Yeah. And the answers are supposed to come from IEBC. On the questions that can come from the president is on whether there is some relationship with the Ghurairs.
And I'm actually getting an update from Ken here. He says they're from the Emirati family, that's one. Yes. But Saif Al Ghurair is the chairman of the Dubai Chamber of Commerce. Yes. In the picture seen with the president is with the Dubai business community. Yes. Abdullah Al Ghurair, who's the proprietor of the printing firm, is not even in that picture. So they just come from the same Emirati family, but...
So it's the same family?
It's the same family, but they're different. In one way. They come from the Emirati family.
Yes.
But the one who's seen in the picture is Saif Al Ghurair,
yes,
who's the Chamber of Commerce, the chairperson, and with the Dubai business community.
Yes.
The one who runs this other one is Abdullah Al Ghurair.
Yes.
Yes.
Now, I'll tell you, and just to split the air.
Yeah.
Muho and Uhuru comes from the same family, okay? Muho runs Brookside, okay? Kenyatta is the president. They come from the same family, so they are not related. That's the argument that we're being told.
And you're not buying that?
I can't buy that.
So can the court just halt a procurement process based on doubt?
The court halted it.
Based on doubt?
Yes, the court halted it. The court indeed halted it. And that's why now they went direct procurement.
So 54 days of the elections, you think IBC still has an option of getting a different organization, a different company to deliver?
Gurair is not the only company in the world that can print. This is just printing. There's nothing, it's not an organization that does elections. This is just printing. Yeah? And even money is printed, okay? Money is printed. This is just printing. You can't say that in the whole world it's only Gurair. Indeed, there was even one from South Africa, that had PAL, that had challenged the first award to Gurair.
So if NASA went to court today, what would happen? What is the most likely outcome?
Right now, you see, the question of, it's no longer now the question of only procurement. It's on the question of the legitimacy and credibility of the election itself. That is going, itself. Yeah. Because this is a fundamental aspect of the election, the ballot papers. The same as the KIEMS, that's the Kenya Integrated System. Yeah. So this goes now deeper. It is no longer now a question of who gets the deal of printing. No, this now goes fundamentally into the legitimacy of the election itself.
Okay, NASA wants Ezra Chiloba, who's the CEO of IBC, and Kasait to step aside. Would that even help? Is that even an option right now?
I'll tell you, because again, I was privileged to have been the rapporteur, one of the rapporteurs for the Joint Parliamentary Committee that came up with the Election Laws Amendment 2016. One of the issues that the committee agreed with, that upon the appointment of these new commissioners, upon them assuming office, they were supposed to vet the staff. Okay? That never happened. That's the first TOR they were given. They were supposed to vet the staff because the question of the staff also came during that process. But the committee decided that no, let's deal with the question of commissioners. Then the commissioners can come, take over office, and then vet the staff. Now, they didn't do that. Now, what has happened? Look, we know that the director of IT is out, the director of procurement is out, and now questions are being raised on the other two, that is Kasait and Chiloba. Yeah. These issues, the commissioners could have dealt with them much earlier, got out of our way if they followed what the agreement that came out of the Election Laws Amendment.
Now, let's not look at the past now, because now we're dealing with this particular situation and it's happening as we speak. So even if Ezra and the Kasait were to step aside, wouldn't that then create a vacuum, which is also another ground for the opposition maybe to bring up an issue that the elections will not be credible? And this is the one thing that even Raphael Tuju was saying, they called the NASA Secretary General as making tantrums.
Let me tell you, there's no vacuum. If there's vacuum, then there's a vacuum also at IT level. There's a vacuum also at the procurement. It doesn't mean that it won't go. There is deputy CEOs there. There are people who work in that office. These are not one-man shows.
Some would argue that then if it's not a one-man show, then just getting the top level away and leaving the rest of the secretariat intact does not do the trick. It's just a delay tactic then.
Yes. Now, when you come to questions of elections, it is a question of you want the credibility to be unquestionable. The credibility, so long as there is a perception that goes to the root cause of the election, whether it is because of the behavior of particular staff. I read in the press that Chiloba attended some State House meeting. Questions have been raised, okay? But we have not seen the answers. You see, that's the main thing. We are not seeing the answers, but we are seeing a pushback both from Jubilee and from IEBC itself, but they're not answering the questions. Did Chiloba go to State House on that particular day? Okay? Those are the questions that I saw being raised. Then a question, is Kasait a member of that outfit that was mentioned in the press, which is affiliated to Jubilee? Those are the questions. Nobody's answering them.
All right, so do you believe then, as we come to an end on this, does IBC have the ability to conduct a free and fair election?
I don't think they are. I don't think they are ready. Why am I saying this? I'll tell you. And there's a plethora of issues. Yeah. Let's start even with the question of of verification and audit of the register. Now, remember, the verification exercise ended, and then the audit came out, I think, a day later. Now, in terms of sequencing, that should not have been the case. We should have had the audit report. Then the audit report tells us what is wrong, and then people can go and verify. Now, people have already verified it's closed. Then an audit report comes out that there are 1 million people, or probably, who are dead.
90,000.
Yeah, or 90,000 or whatever. Now, that they're supposed to be removed. Trevor, in the process of removing them, I don't know whether mine, which are verified, is going to be removed. Are we going to have another time to go and verify that actually they have been removed, or that the people who are legitimately there have not been by mistake or deliberately removed? We don't have. So in terms of sequencing, there was a problem with that. Then we had also the forum of looking at the electronic technology. That particular forum that was created, which is supposed to have representative of the players and stakeholders, have not been meeting. We have not seen a testing that these systems have been tested and they are going to work. We have not seen, to the comfort of all the players, that the systems that have been brought, they have, the question of licenses, which licenses are there, that we have not been given the comfort that they cannot be hacked. We have not been given the comfort that the biometric data has been infused into them. Nobody is telling us that.
Why is it so hard just to believe IEBC? Because they believe they're going to hold a free and credible election. And the president also alluded to this when he was speaking at Eldoret State Lodge, saying that chipping at the body of IEBC lowers its credibility in the public court of opinion.
Yes.
Isn't that exactly what you're doing right now?
No, that is true. But IEBC itself has allowed itself to be chipped in that manner. Why don't you just follow procurement laws? And remember, there's been damning reports from both the Public Procurement Review Board and the court, which led to the sacking of this. Why don't you just follow? If you don't follow, then you are exposing yourself. Okay? If you're not answering questions, then you're exposing yourself. Why did IEBC not vet its staff, as was recommended through the election amendment law process? Why is IEBC not insisting on giving a procurement to a particular person despite the questions that have been raised? Why is IEBC not answering the questions, like for Chiloba, the ones I've given you, and Kasait? Why are they not answering those questions? The question is, she a member of that outfit? Nobody has told us. Did Chiloba go to State House, as is being alleged? Nobody is saying. So long as they're not answering that, they're targets.
Apollo Mboya is still with me, and we're going to talk about the integrity question, but Patriotic Kenyan here on Twitter says that's just the thing. At this point in time, there are capacity for direct flights to get the ballot and the ballot features, and they already have one that has been proven to work. Why not just go with that one? He also says, why are there no alternatives being named? Yes. In terms, and then Junior Shadi says, and printing cannot be done by every company in the world anyway. So what are the alternatives are there? Considering
and printing is also not done by only one company in the world.
But this one has been proven to do the accurate thing in 2014 by elections and all the way through. Isn't that reason enough? If we can come back to that again.
That is not reason enough.
It's been proven to work.
That is not reason enough.
54 days to the elections now.
The proven track record doesn't mean that you violate the process of choosing. Okay? And that is why these cases are normally knocked out. We are not, the courts do not question the capacity. No, that is not the issue here. And that's why people are missing it. It is the process, okay? And that is why people go for judicial review to check on what the process followed. You're not questioning, you're not trying to impugn the capacity of a particular person or a particular entity to do printing. If it is printing, yes, we can print even here on River Road. Okay. We can also print at Kenya Institute of Education. They print. We can go to government printers, okay, and print. But that's not the issue. People are missing the point.
Okay.
Yes.
And let's talk about the integrity question. Francis Olkaparo says that this is really the citizenry are to blame for this? Because any time a leader is summoned, they're the ones who go there to support and show that is, in fact, what term he used was homecoming.
First of all, that conference was a talk show, completely unwarranted. What we are seeing...
You mean the entire National Elections Conference?
Yes. What were they doing? People coming to lament. NCIC coming to lament, the DPP coming to lament, IEBC coming to lament, ESCC coming to lament.
How do you reckon issues are going to be solved if people don't talk about them?
Wait. We are now past talking. We are supposed to be doing. And I'm coming to it now. NCIC has got a mandate. If there is somebody who has tested that mandate, it is me. I tested this thing with regard to Moses Kuria. Okay, I was the complainant. I tested this with regard to Mutai Nguni. These people are charged. Okay, now they are supposed to be doing their part. Now, what are we seeing from ESCC? Rumor mongering. Even the president said that one day he was given some list. You remember? Okay, which then he asked those people to step aside. What has become of that? Were they jailed? We have not seen that. Okay, now. Let's come to the DPP. We have Election Offences Act. Section 14 says of that act that no government during the election period shall advertise its achievements. This was done deliberately during the process of coming with election amendment laws to ensure that there's a level playing field. Are the governments, both national and the county governments, doing that? Exactly, yes. At the national government, we have even the government portal, which media houses are also broadcasting that the achievements. I'll invite you to look at Section 14 of the Election Offences Act 2016, and you will see how the media itself also has acquiesced in the deliberately in the breaking of the law. Then let's come to another integrity pillar.
I'd like you to qualify that statement slightly more.
Yes.
Why do you think the media has a role in that?
Because the law says that no government, and it says no government because that is national and the county government, shall print, broadcast its achievement in any platform.
And we've done that story before. I think it was done by Andrew Chieng.
Yes.
You do realize all the media does is just record what you say and play it back to yourselves, right?
Yes. So what I'm trying to say, is this: that the national government has been giving advertisement, you see, of some road, and they talk about it, and it's being broadcasted. I believe they are paid adverts.
Okay.
Yes. That's what I'm talking about. Mm-hmm. Yes. And yet the law says that no government shall advertise in any platform. And I invite you still to look at it, Section 14 of the Election Offences Act 2016. Because I was involved in the process of coming up with it when we were, I was as a rapporteur in the Joint Committee of Parliament.
But one of the things that the DPP also said that the reason they're blaming Kenyans is because whenever they need someone to testify,
yes,
there are no witnesses. No one comes forward.
Again.
And even if they were there initially, they changed their mind.
Again.
The threshold. So who is to blame here? Is it the Kenyans or is it the courts that are failing?
I'll tell you yes, with one that I've done
mm-hmm.
on hate speech. The media broadcasts these leaders making hate speeches, okay? And we see them on our television and we get horrified. And then we go and report to NCIC. NCIC has been having the same problem. They said nobody will ever come that they're the ones who recorded this statement, because most of the time when it goes to court, that is the challenge. But the media broadcasted it to us. So Trevor, you can see the problem where we are coming from. So who is to be blamed? Then you're blaming everybody. Then don't give us that clip where somebody is clearly participating in hate speech. You can see it clearly, and you've given it to us. But when you're asked to come and testify that I'm the maker of this film, I was present, okay, I'm the one who captured it, nobody will come.
Nobody shows up.
Yes.
So is it the issue of the courts or the people themselves? Because the issue of NCIC is blaming the citizenry for electing, in some cases, people who have questionable characters.
Mm.
Yeah. So is it the citizenry, is it the voters who need to style up in one way?
Let me tell you,
or is it
everybody
a
has got a role,
yes.
but the institutions that have been created and the people earning taxpayers' money within those institutions have got a bigger role. Now, I saw a tweet from IEBC saying on the issue of the conference that was going on, and they are saying, please don't elect criminals. If you look at their tweet, you'll see a tweet, they've just said that. Now, don't elect criminals, but they have cleared that criminal to go and vie. You see how, yeah, and they have tweeted that please let's adhere to the theme of the conference by ensuring we don't elect criminals.
Upholding Chapter 6
yes.
of the Constitution.
But then, IEBC itself has put that criminal in the ballot paper.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. I see
yeah,
where
so it's
you're
a
coming
game.
from. But
yeah.
So now finally, what options do we have here as we wind up on this one? What options do we have?
The options we have is that some people
yes.
have been given jobs that they can't do. Okay? And they have refused to just do it. They are culpable. And in fact, we have, if at all, we are laying the basis for a sham election, we can see it right now. And the people people will be culpable when the problem really comes. And when they become culpable, of course, the country will suffer, but they will have to they'll have to pay for it.
All right.
Yeah.
Thanks for making time for us.
Thank you.
Apollo Mboya, former LSK CEO, speaking to us about the quagmire that IBC is facing. That is definitely not a conversation that's ending right now. It will keep coming, and it's showing me a tweet here. Of course, IBC is saying, realizing peaceful and credible elections is a collective responsibility. We should not nominate, vote in, applaud criminals.
But yeah.
That is a tweet from the IBC.
Yes.
All right.